You just met a dream connection at an event. You weren't necessarily sure that who you would connect with, who would be in attendance, but you went to an event and you know you need to follow up with this person. Maybe they're not your ideal client directly, but they have exposure to the audience that you want to get in front of. Maybe they put on a summit on a regular basis, a speaking engagement. They have a podcast that you think would really help you leverage their audience and really support their audience to be connected to your work and the incredible service that you provide. But after the event, you forget to follow up. It's been a few days, it pops into your mind, but it's in the middle of while you're doing other things. Before you know it, weeks have gone by, and then months, and then it's too late. It feels like too much time has passed before it makes sense for you to still reach out and follow up from meeting them at this event months ago. Has that ever happened to you? I work with clients all of the time who feel like the window has passed. Maybe it was a potential client, maybe it was someone who they met at an event or connected with one time, and without that immediate next step, it just time goes so quickly and it just feels like the opportunity dissolves right in front of them. This situation is important, especially if this is you, or you can think of that person who you wish you could still follow up with, but it doesn't make sense. It's too awkward um, to really think about this because I think that something I hear a lot is that people are going to wait to set up automations in their business, to put systems in place, to make little things like that a little bit easier. Just those things that are really like at your fingertips. You have this, interaction to be able to set up an automation where you could just, add them into your CRM and the automatic, maybe this is someone you needed to set up a coffee chat with, or have that next conversation, share more information about what you do, share a one pager, whatever that looks like. These are things that can be really easily set up. And so I think that sometimes we kind of get into our own heads and we think, oh, like, but I would have to, put a lot of thought into that, or how I would have to take up a lot of time to be able to do something like that. And I'm not going to lie to you, it does take a little bit more on the front end to kind of think through alongside your strategy, your vision for what you're wanting to do. What are the patterns, like what types of interactions do you come across where it would make sense for you to have a next step really set in place and organized. When I say all of that, it's funny because if you're someone who's kind of worried that it's going to take the natural connection out of engaging with someone, a lot of these next steps that you would be pointing someone to, if it's, grabbing coffee with someone you meet at a networking event, if it's a sales call, an invite for someone who's interested to work with you, sometimes the next step is a more personal touch point or a more personal interaction. It's just capturing the momentum in the moment and not losing that energy, really like following up right away and having like crystal clear next steps, making the process easy for you and for them. The other reason why this is really important, especially for a lot of the people I work with who are parents who have, a lot of responsibilities. They have kids, they have different things that they're thinking about, managing the home logistics, sports schedules, daycare, school, like all of the things. And so I just think that despite our best intentions, we think we're like, there's no way I would forget to follow up with that person. There's no way, I would let this opportunity slip. And yet, in really full, busy, active lives, the reality is that sometimes, even though we mean well and we're well intentioned in these business activities, we know that they're so important, that they're priorities. Um, the reality is we have other priorities in our lives. So making sure that it's not something you even have to think about, but that immediate next step, maybe those few next steps, if you met someone and it's not a huge, deep connection, but you'd like to keep in touch, why not automate the next, few pieces of information? Maybe you have a nurture series where everyone who gets added onto your email list, who you meet in a specific way, maybe you meet at an event, but again, the next step isn't to have coffee. It's just to introduce them, tell them a little bit more about your work, why it's important to you, and you have just this introductory series set up and set in place because it's context into why they might want to stay on your email list, why they might want to come to a future workshop or event, why they might want to deepen that relationship with you in the first place. And I recognize like some people need more, some people need some more time to warm up. And so having an option in place to set that up without you having to be in the center of it, without you having to do anything else other than set it up this one time. I really wanted to talk about this now because I find that when people are thinking about the systems, when they're thinking it's going to be this cost, it's going to be this time consuming thing, a lot of people kick the can down the road and feel like, oh, I'm too busy now. Or I've heard this, like, oh, I'm coming up in my busy season, so like I can't do this now. The reality is like if you're pre-busy season and you're going to be coming into your busy season, automating this now will only help you to have a smoother experience, to set up a smoother experience for those people who are reaching out to you, who are trying to engage with you, who are interested in your services. So I really just wanted to flip that preface. I think we default to thinking like, oh, like I don't have time. Now, like, I think that's just, it's so common. It's such a default thought that we go to all of the time. We get so comfortable and used to saying this. So I really just wanted to help shine the light on making sure that we're emphasizing the return and what that will look like. Because if it's setting you up for future efficiency, for future time back, for honestly more intentionality around freeing up the time you would spend needing to sit there and do some follow-ups or reaching out that could be automated, you actually free up more time to be able to be present, be engaged when you're actually in front of someone. When you're in that meeting, you're not distracted thinking about who else you didn't follow up with, what else you needed to do. And so I know that this is one example, but I would really pose the question to you. And as you're going through your day and thinking about all those little things, those tiny tasks that cumulatively end up taking up a lot of your time, just challenging you to really think about like what are the things that you actually need to be in the middle of, that you actually need to be controlling manually, and doing yourselves, and where are those tiny little um, options, those tiny little instances where you could just, think about it once, structure it, and be really thoughtful and intentional in designing something that does what you need it to do, but not having to set up your, you know, I guess, if you want to call it like a structure in your business, not setting a structure in your business so that you are um, always being so reactive. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. I don't usually preface it this way or say it this way, but the way that I work with people, they end up moving to a place in their business, and the ripple effect is to their lives where they feel more proactive, having these initial touch points, having, some systems where things are, automated and just easier. They run the way that you need them to, does end up giving you time back to be more proactive and to be thinking about things at a higher level, do more strategy work, do more of those things that you just don't have enough time for right now, and reallocate the time really intentionally to other parts in your life, inside and outside of your business. Talk to you soon. It's coming up on 10 minutes. I know that your time is so valuable. I don't want these videos to be long, but I'll definitely be back soon. Um, and continue to keep these conversations going. If you have questions, feel free to leave them below in the comments. But I'll look forward to talking to you soon.